Hey, what's going on, guys? Fest is here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna be deep diving into an interview from IGN with the devs from Battlefield 6, and there's some really cool information. So grab a drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Battlefield 6 is almost here. IGN just sat down with the developers and we finally know what this game is really about. In this video, I'm breaking down the biggest details, how BF6 is built console first, what performance you can expect, and how crossplay worked, what's new with anti-cheat, and what changed after the beta. This is the meaty stuff players like us care about, so let's get into it. First, the big surprise. Battlefield 6 was built console first. In the past, Battlefield was made for PC, then ported over. Developers told their teams to play with controllers every day, even on PC. That way, aim assist, frame rates, and input fill became priority. Here's what that means for performance. On PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, you get two options. Performance aims for over 80 frames per second. Fidelity mode locks into 60 frames with higher resolution. On PlayStation 5 Pro, resolution jumps up again. On Xbox Series S, the only mode is 1080p at 60 frames. The decision to go secretly console first says a lot. It's not just about graphics settings or FPS targets, it's about shifting perspective. They know most of the Battlefield community is playing on console. They know that if the game doesn't feel right on the controller, none of those big promises matter. And now, let's be honest, for years, console players often felt like an afterthought. This time, the team's saying, no, you are the center of this. That's not a small change. It's a statement about who Battlefield is really for. Now, let's talk about crossplay. Crossplay would be on by default. If you leave it on, you match with PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. If you turn it off, you will still play with console players, just not PC in the mix. The team also rebuilt aim assist. They call it the combat triangle. It's turned separately for infantry fights, infantry versus vehicles, and vehicle battles. The goal is to keep players competitive when crossplay is on. Now, the easy route would have been just to throw everyone together and hope for the best. But instead, they thought through aim assist, inputs, and player choice. They are saying we want PC and console players to coexist, but only if it feels fair. That is a reflection of lessons learned from the past. In Battlefield 242, players didn't feel hurt. Now, the developers are literally building systems around feedback. From labs to the beta, every major change, spotting, sniper glint, map flow, come from listening. That's not lip service, that's putting player data at the core of development. Now, about cheating, the devs admitted the truth, it can never be fully stopped. But they are serious this time. Battlefield 6 launches with a new system called Javelin, plus secure boot on PC, and they also have a full team to work on it. Even on a topic as messy as hacking, they are being more transparent than I expected. They admit they would never fully win the fight, but they are committing teams, systems, and resources to make it fair as possible. That honestly builds trust. It also shows that the teams finally understands what was broken in 242. It wasn't just bugs, it was the feeling that the players were left alone in a broken game while the devs moved on. Battlefield is trying to flip that by saying we're in this, and that more than any frame rate charge can rebuild trust. Battlefield Labs in the open beta shaped a lot of fixes. Here's what changed. Spotting got nerfed, shorter range, shorter duration, and no more Doritos over every enemy. Sniper glint and bullet traces were toned down. Recon's respawn beacon was moved to the assault class. Capture points and objectives were shifted on maps where checkpoints felt unfair. And yes, bigger maps are in the launch build. The beta only showed smaller ones because they were ready sooner. One of the most requested features is back. Portal now has a proper server browser. You can quick join or search for the exact match when you want. There will also be verified servers and better custom search option, which should make finding matches much faster. The devs are doubling down on realism, but they are not cutting out the fun Battlefield chaos. They actually said some of the physics, bugs, and wild explosions will stay in the game, because those crazy moments are what make Battlefield special. This game's been built by 4 different studios together: Ripple Effect, DICE, Criterion, and Motive. Each brings their own specialty. They even built massive farms of PCs and consoles just to stress test the game before launch. Why? Because they know 242 launched in a broken state. This is their way of avoiding that. What all this really means is that Battlefields is more than just another release. It's a course correction. 4 studios are pulling its strings, not to reinvent the wheel, but to rebuild the foundation. Stable launch, clear identity, real communication, and that's the real takeaway from this interview. The technical details matter, yes, but what matters more is the philosophy behind them. A philosophy of building for players first, of choosing feedback over secrecy, of owning up to mistakes and turning them into progress. The devs also admitted something interesting. They knew leaks would happen because they put the game into players' hands very early through labs. They have decided feedback was more important than secrecy. So yes, things leaked, but it was worth it for the data and the feedback that they collected through beta and the labs. You know, after going through everything that the devs told on IGN, one thing really stands out to me. This game feels like a turning point. Not just for Battlefield as a franchise, but for the people making it. Think about it. Battlefield has always been about massive scale freedom and unforgettable moments. With Battlefield 242, all of that collapsed under broken systems, poor communication, and a launch that frankly hurt the trust between players and developers. And here we are, 3 years later, listening to Ripple Effect, and DICE admit those failures and show us what they learned. That honestly is a rare thing in this industry. So when Battlefield 6 drops, it won't just be a test of servers, maps, or gunplay. It'll be a test of trust. Can DICE, Ripple Effects, Criterion, and Motive prove that they've learned from the past? Can they show that this franchise still deserves its place as the king of large-scale shooters? For me, that's what makes this launch exciting. It's not just a new game, it's the chance for Battlefield to finally redeem itself. And whether it's you're on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox, we are gonna find out together. Thank you so much for spending your time here with me and breaking down all this info. If you really enjoyed this video, drop a like, leave a comment with your thoughts on Battlefield 6, and subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive. I appreciate every one of you watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.